Well, it's called First Days of Summer for a couple reasons. Well, actually only one reason. I'm like a teacher at a high school. I'm not like an algebra teacher or anything like that. I do music and videos, so I'm kind of around this stuff all the time, and I'm around young people all the time. But because of the way my job works, there's not a lot of free time in life. It's kind of like get up, work, go to school, come home, work, go to bed. My whole band actually, Sparkle Jets UK, all started working at this school about 15 years ago, and our band just kind of went just because we didn't have any free time. Usually this weird thing will happen like the day that school lets out in June. I'll like wake up and like, oh, song, boom. You know, I'd be in the shower and like a whole song just goes, and I run over to my computer and I can, you know, put it together pretty easily. Then I like made another one, and then all of a sudden I had like 3. Then the next summer I made like 1 more. Last summer, 2017, and I was like, well, I have enough songs to make like half an album. And I talked to some people about maybe doing like a split 12-inch 2 EPs on either side, but nobody was really down to do that. And I'd been constantly thinking about vinyl this whole time I was doing it, because that's kind of I really wanted to make another record. So last summer came and I was talking to a friend of mine and I said, I have some scraps of stuff in my phone and my notes app. So I just kind of grabbed everything together and kind of scraped the barrel as much as I could with any little idea and just kind of forced myself to work on some songs. My friend Jeff Charoux from Ultraviolet Eye, and he's in Walker Brigade now. He came down to HB because he's a teacher too. He had a week off, so he came and like kind of, made me work. And just having him maybe coming down to my house made me think, geez, I better get something together. And he would sit in the room and be like, let's work on a song. I'm like, okay. And then just having him there made me work. I think about a week's time, I knocked out a whole nother like 7 or 8 songs. And then I was constantly adding all the time together and going, okay, I can fit, if I get about 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there, I'll have a record. And some of the songs are actually about that process. There's kind of 3 themes in this album, and one is a lot of the songs self-reference. Like there's actually, like back when I did Yorktown Lads a few years ago, there's a song on there called Something to Write About, which is just me going, I don't have anything to write about. So I made a song about that. To write about a little something. Thematically though, this album has like 3 main themes, and one is self-referencing songs, about songs. Another one is kind of romance, which in my case is usually always fictional. Let go, whoa, let's fall in love. There's no central sound concept or theme at all, really. I don't even know what it is. I mean, every song's kind of like a little homage to something. That's usually how my stuff works. There's a lot of different flavors on this thing. It's kind of whatever I was thinking of at the moment. I listened to way too much Steely Dan this year, so there's a little yacht rock goodness on one. There's an actual rap song on there, believe it or not. So most guys that I know that like the music I like, we like certain things, and we like records. When I make a song, it's going to have little throwbacks to other records. It's not really intentional, it just kind of happens that way. But that's what we're in it for, so we kind of dig it.
I made an album, you can get it now. You can order it now.
I like the process. I like recording things, and I love hearing mixes, hearing harmonies, and the best thing ever is to kind of whip up a song out of nothing and take it out to the car and turn it up really loud and listen to it and play it for people. And that's like one of the best feelings in the world, and it's just kind of, you have to make yourself do it, I guess. If it doesn't just come and you don't have time, you just make the time. So that's kind of what this album is about, is those days where I made the time to do it. And one summer I had like a song came out, Rudderless Day. It was about like I was having a day where I felt kind of like pointless. When you work, and then it's done. And most people can just relax, but I just kind of go, what am I doing? What's life? This is lame. And so I said, I'll make a song about that. So I did, and then the next day I was like, wow, I have a song.
As a side note, I needed videos for each song on YouTube, so I got the idea to sit down a bunch of my high school students and play them songs from the record without telling them that it was me or what it was, just to get their reactions. And it made for some really interesting videos.
I'm getting chills right now.
That's cool. The Nothing to Say background.
I like the lead into that chorus. This is my favorite song so far.
This is something I would listen to, like, actually. Yeah.
Then I made another one about some similar stuff. I think the second song I did was called Do Your Best to Care, which is just a song about the song. Like, okay, I'm gonna make a song and I'll do a really good job and maybe somebody will listen to it and care.
I'm just a normal guy.
That's cute.
And sitting here I try.
Didn't I try?
To yank these ideas right out of my brain.
So that's really all that is. And then I did another one sort of like that. It's kind of my mantra to my students and myself, which is you get back what you put in. So it's like, make stuff, create things, go out and, get off your butt, put your Facebook down, put your video game down, go outside. Here we are. Or just make something, put something into the universe instead of just consuming.
Where's the wisdom in this song?
So I have to remind myself that too, but that's kind of one of the themes of this. Then another song I did was Fuzzy Green Hat, which was a really weird one. So that's a song about itself also, and it was actually from a dream I had. It was a really strange dream, and towards the end, I actually was thinking about I need to write this song or whatever, and I was in this building and I needed to get on the elevator, and I pressed the button and the elevator opens up, and there's this old friend of mine there who's a songwriter, and he had a fuzzy green hat on, and he's like, yeah, you need to write songs are important, and blah blah blah. And I suddenly wake up and I've got this chord progression, little melody thing that's just in my brain. I roll out of bed, I got a whirly keyboard right there next to my bed, and I go clunk 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 clunk, go, that's pretty good. I think I ran over to my computer immediately and blonk, blonk, blonk right back into my computer and sang whatever dumb lyric it was. It's actually the first, 8 bars of the song are literally what I did coming right out of my bed. And so I sent this little 30 seconds, 20 seconds to this friend of mine and said, hey, I had a dream about you, we were supposed to write a song, and this is the song that came out. What do you think? And he goes, wow, I love it. It's great. I'd love to work on that. I'm really busy right now. I'll get back to you when I figure out how to use my computer, blah, blah. So meanwhile, I waited about 1.5 years. I never heard back anymore. And then one day I just was like, well. And I finished the song about the fact that I talked to the dude on Facebook, and he said, yeah, let's work on it. And nothing ever came of it. But that song's literally about that. So yet again, self-reference.
I'm enjoying this just because I can hear it.
The Alan Parsons Project.
It makes me happy.
My illustrious friend is a fuzzy green hat.
Oh, that was a cool part.
I'm kind of associated with power pop music, whatever that is. I don't know that this record's very much like that. I think there's maybe one song that's so power poppy that all the power pop guys will gravitate towards that. I realize that pop songs that you listen to, the ones we all do, the ones we all know, if I'm in a cover band and I'm singing early Beatles songs or any song really, it's every song's girl this, girl that, I love girls, and won't you hold my hand, And when you're when you have a gray beard, and especially when you work around teenagers all the time, it's you feel really self-conscious about writing songs like that, because what else are you going to write about? So I ended up writing a song that's just called No More Girls, because it's I can't really sing about girls because it's awkward. But all the power pop guys that have heard this already, that's the song they immediately talk about. No More Girls, I love that song. It's like, okay, guys, all right. Yeah, yes, there's a 12-string Rickenbacker on that one. You're welcome.
No more songs about girls for sure. A woman's more my speed. And I know what I can do. I'm gonna sing about you. When I think of you, my heart is filled with songs.
Oh, that guitar.
It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, the acoustic.
Another song that's kind of about the romance thing is I realized that a lot of people that I know, a lot of my friends are a little older than I am, and some of them are getting to that area where like they've had kids and maybe their kids are out of high school now, going to college, and when a lot of relationships kind of that were kind of maybe not doing great kind of stop or go away, that all of a sudden they find themselves at midlife and like they're single again. I go, what about those people need a love song that's not one of those horrible 70s, 80s AOR songs. Something happy and something fun that's about finding that again. So I have a couple songs that are about that.
What don't we do, don't we do, don't we do, don't we do, don't we do it? Giving to, giving to, giving.
Let's Fall in Love, which is a really stupid song. It's really silly. The lyrics are so silly. Like I wrote it and it sounded like, I'm like, this is very clever. Then I went to go and I had a little melody in my head. And then when I went to go sing it, I go, oh my God, I sound ridiculous. I sound like I'm 13 and this is just really awkward.
I say let's go fall right in it. Let go, whoa, let's fall in love. Let go, whoa, let's fall in love.
Then I kind of played the demo for a couple people and they were like, oh, this is really great. So I finished it and I go, what do you think? Yeah, we like it. So you know, I need songs, so it's in. I kind of like it. It's very different. It's got a lot of loops. It's like a 6-string bass, distorted, like that I looped, which I don't normally do that. It's very modern, stupid, poppy song. And I just let it be that, which is fine. But it's about old people, so that makes it different. There's another one that's also about that a little bit, which goes to the other theme of this thing, the third theme, which is kind of like, you know, I don't know, death, I guess. Yay, death. That's what rocks America, songs of death.
Grab a bucket list. Grab a pen, cross off the part that says fall in love.
There's a song called Bucket List, which I thought was really funny. I thought if they're writing out their bucket list, if you write fall in love again on your bucket list, that's kind of a cool thing. As someone my age, you know, you kind of miss when you were younger and everything was so intense, and the things you remember about life is those moments, even if they weren't positive necessarily, even if they didn't work out. It's all that, you know, like, oh my God, kind of powerful stuff that you miss. So that was kind of a fun idea. So I kind of made that song be very rock, like a NRBQ, Nick Lowe rock pile kind of deal. And I asked Addison to do a solo for me on that because he can do the rockabilly thing. I don't know how to do that.
Let's kick it.
Okay. Shredded, little shredder moment.
Nothing on my list looks quite the same, 'cause next to every item I've amended your name. 'Cause you're on my bucket list. But tell me, darling, if you got the gist.
So the other death song is Dirt Nap, which really only exists because I like that term. It's just kind of the ultimate middle finger at death. I thought there should be a song called Dirt Nap, and it should be kind of like proto-metal, loud and stupid and dumb. Just the idea of there being a song on the album called Dirt Nap was enough to make me just write it. And it was very Robbie Rist. I think he's probably the first person I ever heard say that. And so I thought it'd be perfect to get him to play a big, crazy, molten metal solo on that. So I gave him the tracks. And when he sends it back to me, he didn't do the solo at all. He just left my crappy, fake, you know, placeholder solo on the song, and then did a whole bunch of other parts that were actually really great. Made the song a lot better, a little more melodic, I think. So he improved it inadvertently.
Oh my God, we're
cool guitar solo.
I wish I could play like that.
Another Shredder moment. You know, balls to the wall.
I shed a tear.
Got that tambo.
Had that guitar solo.
Yeah.
The last song on the record is it seems like another like bummer song about like a breakup. I'm not gonna I don't really want to talk about it too much. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's actually another self-referencer. It's one of my favorite things on the album. It's just kind of cool. If you don't have time to listen to any of the other nonsense on this record, skip to the end and check that out. Also on the record, on the LP, I designed it to have a play-out groove like Sgt. Pepper. It's supposed to just go and like loop this one never-ending chord that just holds and holds and holds. The yacht rock song is about earthquakes. I was almost a geology major in college, so I know way too much about tectonic plates. And so I got this job down in Huntington Beach. The fact that it's a kind of a geologically bad area completely skipped my mind until about a year and a half ago. I was reading in the newspaper about, it turns out they've in Huntington Beach in this park, which turns out is about 4 blocks from me. It's like they've been finding helium leaking through a crack in this park. And it turns out it's the deepest fault on the planet because it has to go all the way down to like the mantle or something for helium to escape. And it turns out it's the Newport Inglewood fault is the one that's running through town. So I looked that up on the computer, because when you buy a house anywhere in California, almost everyone's living on a fault. So there's always a paper in that giant stack of paper that you've got to sign like 800 times. There's one that says like earthquake faults and you live in a fault zone. It's like, well, no joke, bro. It's Southern California. Of course I do. So you just sign it and move on. What I didn't realize is that like there's one right under my living room, and I'm like, oh great, a fault. Sweet. And I can see the escarpment like across the street. So I literally know that I'm living on one. Okay, that's life. But then I'm reading this article about like the biggest fault in LA, which is not San Andreas. San Andreas is outside of town. The other big scary one is called Newport Inglewood, and it goes from Newport Beach into Inglewood. And the problem with it is, millions of people live on top of it. And all the ground down here where we're sitting right now, last time that earthquake, one of those faults really went, this whole area dropped 3 feet in a second. Just went. And I was reading that, and I realized that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm living on the most dangerous fault probably in the world. And it runs literally under my couch, right under my TV. So I made a song about that, but God damn it, I hope I'm not home when that thing happens. I really do. Because all my stuff, I've got a lot of stuff, it's all gonna fall and kill me. I literally moved some of my stuff away from my bed. I had a big glass cabinet right there. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna move that from the bed so it doesn't land on me. I live here at the beach. I'm like a mile from the beach. And it's just kind of an open invitation of like, hey, what have you got to do? Take the day off, come down to my house, just enjoy this, because we can. It's like I sit in that room every day staring at the computer or whatever, and it's good to get out and see this. Most of the world can't do that, but we can. So we should.
Watch the sinking sun. Just relax, you're not wasting time.
So I work with a lot of young people, like I said, and since they're musicians, I get to work on their records and hear the stuff they make, and they all grew up listening to rap music, even if that's not what they do. And what a lot of bands seem to do these days, they write a few songs and like, oh, this song's so great, and they'll write a song, record a demo of it, and put it on SoundCloud, and literally everyone that they know, all 50, 100 people in their possible sphere of fans to kind of build a following or maybe get a gig or make a record or something. Like they put it on SoundCloud, the minute they finish it, everyone goes, wow, that's awesome, great song, man. And there's something psychological that happens when you don't pay for something and it hasn't been presented in like a larger form or talked about, kind of like we're talking now. If you just put it out there, that's great, but it kind of loses its value a little bit when it doesn't cost any money. That's kind of why I've been holding these songs back. I mean, I'm tempted every time I write one to just put it on Facebook and let everybody hear it, but I want to wait. And then the other thing the kids will do is maybe they'll go to a studio and what used to be a 3-song demo for us back in the day, they'll just go ahead and put that out when they have more songs in the can, and they can go record at home and do a whole album very easily. But they still keep putting out EP after EP after EP, and it's like, dude, just wait till you got a whole record worth. You're making me nuts. Whenever people make EPs, it doesn't matter how great it is, there's something psychological that you just kind of dismiss those things. So I got thinking about all this stuff and trying to explain this in a succinct way. And there's too much to talk about. There's too many details. I don't know how it happened, but I put in a really bad hip-hop beat into my computer, and I literally just rapped all that content. And I was pretty proud of it because, you know, I made a rap song in like literally 30 minutes probably, top to bottom. Took it in my car, listened to it. I'm like, this is rad. It's really catchy. And a lot of my friends have been like, don't put that on there. It wrecks the whole thing. I had a couple labels that were like, yeah, we kind of like this album a lot, but we don't really understand that song. And then a lot of people though were like, I love it. You should leave it on there. It's really fun. So whatever. If you don't like the rap song, you can hit the button. No, it's a free country. I put it on the beginning of side B so you can literally do that whole Within You Without You thing. A lot of people don't like that song on Sgt. Pepper, and they'll just lift it and they'll drop it on, track 2. So you can do that if you want as well. But it was literally written to be the opener of side B. It talks about, that's the first line of the song. You're standing in the clearest part of your room because you just flipped over this set of tunes. Now that's the first thing it says. So it was always intended to be an album. Most of this thing I just kind of did by myself. It's pretty fast for me. I've got a little setup in my kitchen so I can just run in there and hammer out all the stuff. Like usually as I'm writing it, I'm putting it in the computer and putting all the parts on. It's not like I sit with a guitar and make up a song and have it kicking around for a while. It's just, if I have an idea, it immediately goes in. So most of the time I don't need anybody else, but there's a few places on this record where I thought, it might be fun to have somebody else come do a little piece. I had Matt come in and do some cello, had Anthony play a little bit of guitar on a song, and Addison Love came in and did a solo on one, and I gave a song to Robbie Rist too to do some little stuff for. I had a friend of mine named Jeff came in and helped me write some of the songs when I was racing to get a whole record done. Some people are like into the songs. I think it's 3 stages. I really like recording them. I like doing that. Writing them is only a means to an end. I don't really care about that. I kind of want to have a recording. That's when it's real. And I think if there's a final product, an album that you're going to make, that's the 3rd most important stage. And that's what keeps me want to make things, because if I'm going to put a real product out, then it's worth doing. So I need all 3 of those things for it to be fun for me. But this whole thing's about it being a vinyl experience. So I just had to do it. I hope people will enjoy it. I know not everyone listens to this stuff, so I've put CDs in the packaging and download cards, so no matter what you like to listen to or how you consume, you've got something you can use. I will lose a lot of money on this, but I don't care, because when you make art, I think that's just as important. At least you got to look at it and hold it in your hand, and that's what matters to me. I hope that people listening to this will think, I'm glad he made more music. My students too, that they see that I can do stuff, that, sticking to the schedule and just making stuff and going all the way through the whole process is important. And I did this process really quickly, and I'm hoping that, next time the next summer rolls around, I might have some more ideas and I can do it again. I don't know how long it'll take me to get, 14 or 12 tunes done, but I'll try. But I think it's kind of fun. It's insight into my dumb mind. One of the reasons I have a hard time writing songs, if I have something I want to say to the world, where I normally would just make a song about it, I can get on my phone or whatever and just And that activity kind of takes songs away from your brain if you're that kind of person. So I've tried to get past that. I hope they like it enough that it encourages me to do more, because it's really just a matter of people that do this. We make stuff, but it's no good making stuff if people aren't going to hear it. So I'm doing whatever I can to just get this in people's hands. It's not about making money or getting recognized. It's just the art exists, and now it's like, let's get it in front of people's earballs.
On my bucket list. Let's